So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make these wishbone rings without using any kind of math and just these tools. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is some wire. This is some round brass 2mm wire. So if you've watched my previous video, this is a ring bender that I got, and I go over setting it up and everything like that. But this one's just going to show you how to actually make the rings. So I'm going to take the piece, and I want the 90-degree setup. So all you have to do is take your wire and put it inside of here, and pull the lever to make a 90-degree bend. Easy so far. So now, when it's like this, you're going to need some pliers, and make sure that they are flat pliers with no teeth. So I want to grab it right here, right in the bottom part of the V. So you could take your other pliers, or you can just take your fingers and push down on this, and kind of make it parallel going across this way, because you want that little dip in there. So it's going to be a little bit off, but it'll be fine. Also, you can see that it's a little bent here. That's also totally fine. So what we're going to do from here is take these pieces out, and then I'm going to use the size 18 setup, but I'm going to be using the plastic piece with the metal piece. The reason why I'm doing this is the plastic piece will not leave any marks on our ring, and this piece will just flatten out the inside and doesn't really matter too much. So what I'm going to do is take this and flip it up like that so I can get a better grasp on it, because this will try to spin, and I'm going to start rounding past the bend part. Get up to it as close as I can, and then flip this around. And I don't need this much material, so what I'm going to do is cut off some of it and guesstimate it being around the same size as the other side. And if it's a little off, it's fine. And then I could hold it in here like this and bend like that to start getting this part rounded. So you can see it's starting to take shape. But we need to figure out what size we're going to be making, and you need a mandrel for this. So I'm going to grab my mandrel and put this on here and see where it's at right now. And it looks like it's around a 9. Let's say we want to make it a 7. We're going to want to switch the 18 out to a 16. And then we can put this in here. And make sure these are going to overlap one another, because this is going to start getting smaller and it needs somewhere to move. Alright, so that will round it out some more. Let's see what size we're at. But there we go. It is right there at the 7. And we have a good overlap here, which is what we want. So the next thing we're going to do is cut through this using a jeweler's saw. Alright, so all we have to do is cut through the back of this. And to do that, I'm going to just set up my saw blade and then line it up so I'm making sure I'm going to be hitting both of them. So we want it to line up like that so we can hit both of these at the same time and make the same cut through both. What I like to do is start at the top and make my line, and once I have that line, I can start cutting the bottom one to make sure that the cut is going to be the same on both of them. So there we go. They should have the same angles to them. And now all we have to do is bend these to meet up. So all I'm going to do is press them a little bit together so they're just overlapping just a little bit like that, and then pull them up. Until they get to that point. They're going to be off like this, and that's fine. You can just use some pliers to pull them to the right positioning. Alright, so there we go. So this should solder perfectly because of how tight the joint is. Also, you'll probably notice that this is the middle point and this is off to the side. It doesn't really matter where the solder joint is on this, as long as you can clean it up and close it. I'm going to be using some hard silver solder on this, so you'll be able to see the little bit of a silver line because this is brass. But if you use silver to do this, you won't see any line whatsoever. Alright, when it comes to soldering, all we have to do is put a little bit of flux on the solder joint. And then I'm going to place it upside down like this on my solder block. So if you have a charcoal block like this, you can use it to your advantage for making rings. Just take a piece of hard silver solder and place it directly underneath your joint like that. And as long as your joint is actually on top of that, it will not go anywhere. So that being said, you can heat this up right away and not have to worry about your solder piece flying away or having to dry out your flux first. So that's it. Now we need to clean this off in some pickling solution to eat away all of the tarnish that's on here. So I'll do that real quick. Alright, so here we are. And you'll notice that there's a little bit of pink on here. It's because this is brass that we heated up and put into a pickling solution. And it kind of removes some of the surface level of the zinc that makes up brass. So it just leaves copper behind. That will all clean off with some polishing, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But anyways, we need to get this rounded, and you can do that by just putting it back onto the ring bender again and just kind of evening it out. So once you have it more rounded out, we're going to need to flatten it, seeing that this is nice and wavy, and we don't want that. Just take a rawhide mallet. So there we are. So all that's really left to do is clean it up, and I'm going to use one of the rotary bristle pieces to clean it up. So there we go. You could take a lot more time to do this and actually bring it up to a full polish. You can also take out any of the little tool marks in here by doing that, but this is just showing how to get it to this point. So that's pretty much it. This is not the only way to do this, of course, but this is one way that you can use a ring bender to make these extremely quick without much effort and no measuring or anything like that. So if you want to see how to polish something like this, I'll have a link to a video right here. And if you want more jewelry techniques and videos like this one, there will be a playlist down here. Other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.